has a very strict, tight strike zone. You're not going to get any of those pitches.
We welcome you to St. Petersburg, Florida, with Buck Martinez and Ron Darling. Craig Sager, our field reporter. Chip Carey at Tropicana Field. We apologize for the technical difficulties we encountered back in Atlanta. The Rays have scored the first run of this Game 6 in the first inning. A B.J. Upton solo home run off the catwalk with 1 out.
Just a fastball and a 3-2 pitch from Josh Beckett. And we've seen him hit this pitch over and over, Buck.
High fastball. It hits the C ring here at Tropicana Field, and by the ground rules, that is ruled a home run when it hits in fair territory.
Josh Beckett's fastball in this first inning, 92, an occasional 93 miles an hour.
Just not enough fastball to get by B.J. Upton, particularly upstairs.
So Evan Longoria, the hitter, he's 6 for 21 in this series with a couple of home runs. And a double play ball maybe. There's one at second. Pedroia the turn at first. And Beckett is out of the first, allowing just 1 run. B.J. Upton unloads after 1. Rays have an early lead.
Has now made it even easier. Now you can get $5,000 cash back on the Kia Sedona minivan and the Kia Sorento midsize SUV. Both come with a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty and a 5-star crash safety rating. That's 2 incredible vehicles, 1 incredible deal. With $5,000 cash, how can you afford not to?
The legend was born in 1965 in the torrid swamp of Florida, where the scorching heat took a brutal toll on the Gators.
The players weren't adequately hydrated and their performance suffered.
The answer, a new carbohydrate electrolyte beverage created by University of Florida doctors.
Naturally, we called our stuff Gatorade.
And when they won the '67 Orange Bowl, Gatorade had arrived. Born of humble origins, proven to this day. The legend continues.
It was all over the place, literally. An IRA here, a bunch of funds there. That's why we kept putting off moving it. We thought it'd be a nightmare. But actually, with Schwab, it was the opposite. You get this concierge person. He did the paperwork, called the old firm for me, showed us around the website, all that stuff. It was a breeze.
Are you in?
I would miss this.
He's great. He thinks he's smart. He's the best kind of mark.
Element of surprise.
Let's go break the law just one more time.
We provide leverage.
Academy Award winner Timothy Hutton.
We're on the count. 5.
She's gone.
Son of a...
Man, why can't they all be this easy?
Leverage special series premiere Sunday, December 7th to 10 on TNT. From TNT, of Independence Day. The first 2 movies blew you away. Now the final chapter of The Librarian begins. All the action, all the danger.
Kill them both.
All the romance belongs to one man. Sorry. The protector of the world's greatest secrets is back with an all-new adventure. Judas Chalice. Noah Wiley, The Librarian, Curse of the Judas Chalice.
It's rented!
This December, only on TNT.
We welcome you back to Tropicana Field in St. Petersburg. We again apologize profusely for the technical difficulties we had back in Atlanta. You haven't missed much. We will recap the entire first inning for you in a few moments as Kevin Youkilis leads things off for the Red Sox against James Shields. Big game James, they call him, going to the mound for the Rays in Game 6 tonight.
Minor league teammate Chris Flynn gave that moniker to James Shields. Big Laker fan was Chris, and of course everyone knows Big Game James. Before this, Shields was of course James Worthy, fine basketball player for the Lakers.
Well, Shields talks about the nickname, and he says everybody wants to be a big game pitcher, and this is exactly where I want to be, pitching a clinching game with a chance to push my team into the World Series.
Swing and a drive by Youkilis, deep left center field. At the wall, Crawford can't get it. That ball is gone, and Kevin Youkilis has tied the game.
Oh, that's a big hit there, Buck.
Kevin Youkilis gets a cut fastball on the inside part of the plane, and he turns on it. He's just 2 for 20 before this hit off James Shields. He hasn't had much luck, but just like that, he erases an early deficit with his second home run in this ALCS.
So remember, he started 0 for 17 until he saw Shields in the first game. Got a couple of hits, so he's better now.
And better is Red Sox Nation as they've gotten this thing back even. At 1-1 in the second. J.D. Drew, the hitter. J.D. Drew had an unbelievable 8th and 9th for the Red Sox in Game 5. His 2-run homer in the 8th brought him back to within a run. Then J.D. Drew, the game-winning hit in the 9th. Made it an 8-7 final and forced a Game 6 here in St. Petersburg. Another high towering fly ball, this time to right. Gross into the corner near the wall. That ball is foul. A towering, majestic foul ball off the bat of J.D. Drew. And Terry Francona eyeballing that one down the line, didn't he?
Well, you got to have a close look at this because that's a foul ball on that ring high above the field, and you can see that it is surely foul. Alfonso Marquez well down the right field line, had a good look at it.
Now Drew, a base hit. So J.D. Drew 3 for his last 3 in this ALCS as we check out the rest of the Red Sox lineup, brought to you by Kia Motors. Coco Crisp led off the game with a bunt single and was picked off. Dustin Pedroia popped out. David Ortiz struck out to end the first. Kevin Youkilis homered leading off the second. Drew aboard at first, and he'll be followed by Jason Bay at left, Mark Kotze at first, Jed Lowry at shortstop, and Jason Varitek looking for his first hit in this 2008 American League Championship Series. Jason Bay, the batter for Boston. And he yanks one down the third base line. Longoria, beautiful throw to second for one, but not in time to get Bay at first. Well, you've amazed everyone, Buck, talking about that arm and accuracy of Longoria at third.
He has a remarkable knack for throwing strikes to second base on double plays no matter where he is. In foul territory, look at the throw. Right on the money to Iwamura. Just not enough time to get Bay, who runs well. But what a great throw from an awkward position. Look where it is. Right in the middle of his chest, in a perfect spot for Iwamura to turn the pivot, but Bay just outran the throw.
Longoria had the key throwing error, you might recall, in the 9th inning in Game 5 in Boston. That allowed Kevin Youkilis to reach second. He came home on Drew's game-ending hit. And now Mark Kotze, the batter, is down a quick strike. Ground ball slowly and through the right side. Bay around second will retreat and make it safely. So Kotze with a cue ball shot for a hit, and 2 are on with 1 out for Boston.
Well, Shields is getting the ground balls, but they're finding the holes as Pena just out of his reach. Bay was thinking about going first to third, but really had to wait for this ball to get through, and by that time, no chance to advance.
So James Shields, who allowed just 6 hits in 7 innings and a third in game 1 against Boston, has already allowed 4 hits in an inning and 1/3 tonight.
He has a knack for pitching deep into a game no matter how he starts, and he is just one of those guys that makes in-game adjustments very effectively.
And now Jed Lowry, the shortstop, is the hitter. 2 on, 1 out. And boy, did Boston come through with runners in scoring position late in game 5.
See the scouting report, home cooking 9-2 in the stadium this season. Go deep into the game, save that bullpen, and the key will be his changeup. With all this time off, will he be able to throw it slow enough, have that differential between that and his fastball?
High fly ball, right center field. Upton glides over. Bay tags, will not advance.
Well, if you've not seen this outfield for the Rays, they've got a lot of speed in the outfield and great arms. Upton had 16 assists during the regular season. He has a lot of range as he's just becoming comfortable in the outfield. Was signed as a shortstop, played third base, second base, and now he's moved to center field. And he's really got tremendous coverage from gap to gap.
It's home for the Red Sox. Now would be a perfect time for Jason Varitek to pick up his first hit of this ALCS. He's 0 for 12.
Or 2 days ago, 3 days ago, anytime.
Yeah. Boston's tied it on a Kevin Youkilis second inning home run. And a strike. Interesting story, guys, on how Shields learned that changeup.
Yeah, he had shoulder surgery and was coming back playing catch with his brother, who was a junior college left-handed pitcher, and he knew his velocity was going to be down from 96, 97, so he said, I need another pitch. And his brother had a very good changeup and taught him the changeup, and it's been the same pitch for him ever since.
And it really was his dedication, though. His cousin is Aaron Rowan, who's center fielder for the San Francisco Giants, about as tough-nosed a player as you're going to get. He implored James to come work out with him in Vegas, get in perfect shape. And that's the reason he's being able to go deep into the games, because he has taken care of his physical part of his game as well as the mental now.
Hey, the runner at second as Varitek looks inside of the fastball. Marcotte at first, 2 out in the second for Boston. Joe Madden's club had an early lead. It lasted about 5 minutes. Boston ties it up. And Josh Beckett put together some shutdown innings himself tonight.
Well, the problem both pitchers are going to have is they got to get over the strikes on the Darryl Cousins. Don't play an umpire. He has a very strict one. He's not going to give you any pitches off the corners. So, you know, being out there and getting upset at Cousins is not going to help you. You're going to have to get more swing and more contact.
Varitek takes strike 2.
You make a good pitch, he'll call a strike. In my mind, if I'm a catcher in this game, I've just got to keep control of my pitcher's emotions and eliminate any concern about the strike zone.
Runners go. Varitek fouls it away.
Another pretty good pitch right on the inside part of the plate, and it caught Darryl Cousins right squarely on the mask. He's got that extension on the bottom of his mask to protect his throat, and he's waving to the first base umpire, Tim McClellan, that he's okay. McClellan's the crew chief here, and he's checking on the well-being of the home plate umpire.
That's why you saw Navarro go out to his pitcher. That's the courtesy that the umpire and the catcher give each other. If they get hit, they go out and give them a little time.
Varitek hits it a mile high to left. Carl Crawford is under it. Inning over. But Kevin Youkilis with one swing of the bat has tied up this game 6. And so we welcome you upstairs here at Tropicana Field in St. Petersburg, Florida. Chip Carey, Ron Darling, Buck Martinez. Again, we apologize for the technical problems back in Atlanta, but we're good to go tonight And now in the bottom of the second inning, Buck, it's turned over to Josh Beckett, who hasn't had the commanding fastball he and the Red Sox hoped to see in the very first inning tonight.
No, he sure hasn't, Chip. It's been about 93 miles an hour, and early on we have seen him go to the curveball. It's important for him to throw the curveball tonight, get the off-speed pitches over, because every time he has faced Tampa Bay and thrown fastballs, they've worn him out.
Yeah, same thing. He's going to have to even include his changeup, I think, against the left-handed hitters to try to get them to roll that over. But his secondary pitches are going to be the most important pitches for Beckett, which is 180 degrees from what he usually does in the postseason.
And so here's how the game began. The highlight package for you from the top of the first inning. Coco Crisp started, bunted, reached safely. That's the good part of the play. The bad part, though, picked off.
Picked off by Shields. Not a big lead, but came in a little high.
Throw right into the baseline, an easy out.
Then Dustin Pedroia popped up to Evan Longoria at third. Then James Shields carved up Big Papi, David Ortiz. Then Akinori Iwamura struck out against Beckett in the first. B.J. Upton hit the catwalk. Another home run in this series.
3-2 fastball. He hasn't missed a fastball on the inner half of the plate through the entire postseason.
Then Carlos Pena walked. Then Longoria wrapped into a double play to end the bottom half of the first inning. Then in the top half, as we showed you a moment ago, Kevin Youkilis has solved Mr. Shields after an 0 for 17 start. Youkilis 3 for his last 4 head-to-head with the Tampa Bay right-handers. So bottom of the second inning, here is Tampa Bay's lineup brought to you by Kia Motors. Iwamura, Upton, Pena, and Longoria are the first 4 for Joe Maddon's club, which leads this series 3-2. Carl Crawford again in the number 5 spot is in left field with Cliff Floyd, the designated hitter. Dioner Navarro catches and hits 7. Gabe Gross hits 8th in right field, and Jason Bartlett, the shortstop, is hitting 9th.
The scouting report for Josh Beckett. Pitch to contact. Instead of the strikeouts, going to have to get some early outs. Strong early. Well, he gave up that first inning home run. That's not the case. And hold the lead. He's had the lead 4 different times in the postseason. He's given it back in the next half.
So Carl Crawford leads it off. 9 for 22 in the series. Is Crawford had a 5 for 5 game up at Fenway Park, and he jumps on the first pitch and is retired by Pedroia. So there's some of that early contact you were talking about. Beckett retires a fast man in the second inning.
If he wants to throw his fastball, use his 2-seamer. Run it away from the left-hander. See if they'll ground out. Throw that 4-seamer that he cuts a little to the right-handers to keep it out of that inside part of the strike zone.
Yeah, if you don't have good velocity, it's very difficult to pitch inside to lefties or righties. You're better off just trying to get off the end of the bat contact and get ground balls.
Cliff Floyd's the designated hitter for the Rays tonight. And Beckett hits the outside corner. Floyd's highlight of this series came in game 2 when he hit a 4th inning home run off of Josh Beckett. And Floyd is granted time here down a strike.
Remember that game in 1999 where Pedro Martinez had, I don't know if he had hurt his arm, but he wasn't throwing as hard. He came in and relieved and pitched those no-hit innings for 6 innings with changeups and curveballs. That's what I think Beckett needs to do tonight to be successful.
But
that pitch was up 0-2.
The problem to that is that Pedro has much better feel than Beckett. Yeah. Beckett has always been a power guy, and Pedro can change speeds when he's healthy on his breaking pitch. There's 2 or 3 different speeds. So it's much more of a challenge to Beckett to pitch that style than it is for Pedro Martinez. One thing the curveball will do for Beckett, if he throws enough strikes with it, it will make his 92-mile-an-hour fastball seem like 94, 95. But you've got to get the Rays hitters to be conscious of hitting the curveball before the fastball becomes more effective.
Base is clear for Floyd and a 1-2 count. Outside corner, strike 3 call. Floyd has another look. Checks with Darrell Cousins. 2 men are out.
Well, this is what they call a backdoor curve. You see where Veritek sitting. Ball starts outside. Nice job by Veritek catching that and keeping that in the strike zone.
You see, Veritek was just set up in the middle of the plate with that pitch. He just wanted to throw a strike, and it caught the outside corner. And Floyd surveying the outside corner, and then checking with Darrell Cousins. Said, was it on the corner? Yep, that's all he wanted to know.
So he'll put that in the book for his next at bat against Beckett, who has 2 quick outs in the second inning. And Dioner Navarro rips one to right. That froze J.D. Drew for a moment. He had some trouble with the lights, you recall, when we were here for games 1 and 2. But Beckett has an easy second, and we're tied at 1. This American League Championship Series coverage on TBS presented by Kia Motors. The Red Sox and Rays tied at 1 after 2. Boston's won 6 of its last 7 postseason road games in which it's faced elimination. They need to win tonight to force Game 7 here tomorrow. And Coco Crisp will start it off against James Shields. And not punting with ball 1. Coco Crisp, who's at bat in the 8th inning, was termed his best ever as a Red Sox by Tito Francona, his manager. Finds himself now in a 1-1 count.
They asked him what he was doing in between all those pitches, how did he concentrate? He said, I didn't really concentrate. I just said a prayer in between each pitch.
Well, it sure was answered. That miraculous finish by Boston, trailing 7-0 in the 7th. Completing the second biggest comeback in postseason history to force Game 6 tonight.
J.D. Drew came up with 2 big hits. Obviously, the home run in the 8th and the game winner in the 9th.
Two and 2. Crisp getting some extended looks in that leadoff spot. What with the struggles of Jacoby Ellsbury in the midst of an 0-for-20 slide, the longest of his professional career.
Isn't it interesting, right? Last year, Coco was the starter in the postseason. They had to go to Ellsbury to pick up the team. A reversal this year.
Fly ball center. Upton falls for a moment. Dustin Pedroia, the hitter. He popped out, as we showed you, in the Boston first inning. There is not a seat to be had tonight, by the way, at Tropicana Field. All the tarps they had in the upper reaches of the upper tank have been taken away. They've sold every seat for Game 6 tonight. And a ball high to Pedroia.
Again, a very close pitch called the ball by Darrell Cousins. And as a catcher, I don't mind that as long as it's the same every inning. You know where he is. You just got to get him back on the plate if you're Navarro.
Not with that one, though. 3 balls, no strikes.
And what you can do as a catcher, and Joe Madden knows this, he was a catcher in the minors, is give location, call for it away, but don't sit outside as far as you normally do with Cousins. It's your job to get the pitcher back in the strike zone. You can't complain about it. He's going up all 9 innings.
Yeah, he's not going to change.
And Pedroia coaches a 1-out walk. First of the night for Shields, and he did not walk many during the regular season.
That's Joe Madden shaking his head, too. If you see this pitch on pitch tracks, a ball just outside. Darrell Cousins with the right call. But what you have to do too as a catcher, don't you, Bud? Sometimes maybe start to employ that little curveball that comes in the strike zone on first pitch, so you got a little more to work with instead of trying to paint on the outside corner.
Yeah, you can be more aggressive with that curveball and just throw that get-ahead curveball, especially to David Ortiz, a guy that's been scuffling on off-speed pitches.
Ortiz struck out to end the Boston first. And the shift on with 1 on and 1 out. Well, the Red Sox fans very happy to see a 1 next to that home run column on David Ortiz's ALCS line. And that one yanked into the right field corner. Pedroia around second, on his way to third. Gross over cleanly. Big Poppy doubles there at second and third. Ball gets away, but Shields backs it up.
Well, here's the pressure that the Red Sox haven't been able to put on the Rays starting pitchers. Give a couple of guys on. David Ortiz pulls it right past Pena. Pena bounces off, can't react in time to put a glove on that ball. It goes down into the corner. Now watch this throw from Gabe Gross. He just kind of airmails it back toward the infield. He throws it past the cutoff man, Iwamura. First baseman Pena can't get it, and Shields, fortunately, backs up the plate perfectly. But there was no direction whatsoever on that throw from Gabe Gross.
So now Euclid is up and down a strike. And he homered leading off the second inning. Remember, he started 0 for 17 against Shields, but went 2 for 3 against him in game 1. And with that second inning homer, 3 for his last 4. Ground ball towards short. That'll get a run in, and the Boston Red Sox lead 2-1. Just the second time the Red Sox have led in the last 36 innings of this ALCS.
Cleanup hitters are supposed to drive in runs, and Euclid does that very effectively with a simple ground ball to the shortstop. Pedroia hustles in with the go-ahead run. And Euclid always does his job. He knows what he was supposed to do there. Infield back, put the ball in the ground.
Just fine. Mr. Execution is Euclid.
Now J.D. Drew with the man at third. Looks at a ball high and tight. Drew singled between Iwamura and Pena. Back in inning number 2.
These are the killers, though, for starting pitchers. 2 outs, guy in third. This is where you can really break the back of a pitcher. 2 out RBIs.
And they were so prevalent for Boston's attack in their division series matchup against the Angels, and missing largely until the last 3 innings of game 5 up in Boston.
Iwamura moved over into the pull zone a little bit more after Drew pulled the ball on the ground. So he has taken a step toward the left just to try to take some of that hold away from J.D. Drew.
Good stop, Navarro. And the count to Drew, 3 balls and a strike.
You almost feel that Shields, the way he's going after J.D. Drew. He watched that 8th and 9th inning in Boston, almost like he's trying to get Drew to chase a pitch out of the zone. If he doesn't, then he'll pass on and pitch to Bay.
Drew 7 for 19 against him as well. He knows that he's got a little leeway here with the base open.
And he pitches around J.D. Drew, puts runners at the corners for Jason Bay with 2 out. Second walk of the inning, second walk of the game. Jim Hickey out for a chat with Bay coming up in a 2-1 Boston game.
This is the type of meeting where pitching coach comes out here and just checks with Shields, give him a little breather, and reinforce the game plan. Give him an idea.
And it also can go out and give a real positive affirmation for your pitcher, because you can go, hey, good job. That was good pitching around, Drew. You know how to get Bay out. Give him the scouting report and get off there. So you're always working to uplift that confidence of the pitcher.
How many times did you stand on the mound and have a little bit of doubt on how you were going to attack somebody, and then the pitching comes out and just sorts out your thoughts?
He almost takes it out of play for you. Now you just go by what he says.
Jason Bay with men at the corners in the Boston third. 8 of his 9 postseason runs batted in have come in 2-out situations.
Red Sox being very patient early in the count against Shields.
pitch. Back-to-back breaking balls, and he finds the strike zone with the second one. Jason Bay is hard charging for that fastball. He's a good fastball hitter. He's a good fastball up hitter. You got to think down and away with fastballs and breaking balls. Changeup.
Entering this game tonight, Shields had not allowed an RBI to a right-hand hitter in the postseason. Kevin Youkilis has knocked in 2 for the Red Sox so far tonight. And a good play Navarro again to maybe save a run. 2-2.
Now that gives the pitcher so much confidence with a runner at third base and a chance to score on a ball in the dirt. If you're going to throw a changeup, you want to be able to bury it in the dirt and trust your catcher to block it. Physically, watch how he squares up on this ball. He hits in front of the plate, and he uses his body to keep it in front of him and use that right arm to really smother the ball.
A little low, and now Drew will have the privilege of running with a 3-2 count.
Shields likes, look at that pitch count getting up there. Shields loves to throw that 3-2 changeup.
Drew runs, and it's fouled back.
That's a pretty good call. That's what Jason Bay was thinking. Yeah. That's why he was late on the fastball. Hitting with 2 strikes, you have to have an exceptional changeup to retire a good hitter because they're thinking about contact. Short and sweet, protect the plate. Shields has that kind of changeup that he can use it, especially after throwing a fastball up in the zone.
Bases are loaded for Mark Kotsay.
Well, a little change up away. You saw that pitch just out of the strike zone. That ball had a little cut on it. Never see a changeup really from a right-hander have a cut. Usually works back over the middle of the plate, but that one stayed true outside of the zone.
So no place to put Kotsay. Way high with ball 1.
Well, 19 times out of his 33 starts in the regular season, James Shields went 7 innings or more. With the pitch count he has going today, that might not be what he's going to be shooting for.
Ball too high.
Well, you can see the Red Sox bench is encouraged by this situation. They've got Shields on the ropes.
Ortiz at third, Drew at second, Jason Bay at first, and a 2-0 is high. Ball 3.
You got to wonder that this isn't a result of the long rest. He hasn't pitched in 8 days. He only averages about 14 pitches per inning when he pitches in this ballpark during the regular season.
And he always strikes out 4 more than he walks. So he's not a guy who usually will walk batters, but 3 in this inning.
Kotsay still way ahead in the count at 3-1. Swing, fly ball, center field. Upton drifting back is going to have room, and Shields escapes further damage. Kevin Youkilis chases home Dustin Pedroia, and the Red Sox lead by a run. TBS MLB postseason brought to you in HD by DirecTV, delivering the most sports in HD. Well, gentlemen, Josh Beckett's been given a lead. 2-1 is your score, and holding those leads has been problematic for Beckett. In this 2008 postseason, Gabe Gross greets him first and jumps on the first pitch and is down a strike.
4 times in this postseason, Josh Beckett has given up a lead in the next half inning.
And those, we talk about it all the time, those are the shutdown innings. You got to shut the other team down. Get your offense back up at the plate.
Beckett had an easy time of it in the second, getting the Rays 1, 2, 3. Now Gross 0 for 9 in this ALCS. Beckett's fastball tonight, 91-92. That pitch, Ron, at 87. Enough of a separation?
That was his changeup. I mean, that's the problem, that he throws his changeup so hard that he only has 4 or 5 miles an hour change differential between those two pitches. That's usually not a good thing, but the bottom dropped out of that.
Right there, and Gross took strike 3. That pitch humped up to 93. 1 out.
That is a beautiful sequence. Fastball, two-seamer away, changeup down, and then fastball in.
Base is empty as we join Craig Sager here at Tropicana Field. Greg?
Well, according to Major League Baseball, the 3 loudest crowds ever to see a baseball game in order. The 87 World Series of the Metrodome between Twins and Cardinals. Game 7 of the 01 World Series, the Diamondbacks versus the Yankees. And then last Saturday here, the Rays 9-8, 11 inning win to even the series at 1-all. But 6,500 more seats sold where that tarp used to be in the upper deck. Plus they've sold standing room only tickets. I'm not an audiologist, but I do have a toy here, a decibel meter. And when this thing tops 120, we'll be roaring past a jet engine. It's going to get loud here this evening. Chip.
All right, Craig, thank you very much. And the crowd booing as Beckett keeps dropping in strike after strike tonight. And there are the folks sitting in the top of the Trop. And Bartlett, I believe, hit by that pitch. Indeed he was. On an 0-2 count, Beckett plunks Bartlett. Red Sox wonder if he even tried to get out of the way.
Well, Beckett definitely wonders, and Terry Francona wondering, because that's the want of the hitter today. They do not get out of the way. Curveball inside, almost leans into it. See how he leaned into it? The umpire can call him out.
Absolutely he can.
They don't, though.
Call the ball, said he didn't get out of the way. You have to have an attempt to get out of the way, and Beckett didn't believe there was any attempt whatsoever, and I agree with him.
So we'll see if Beckett keeps that in the back of his mind when Bartlett is up a second time tonight. And Iwamura, the hitter, he struck out leading off the Rays first.
Similar situation happened years ago when Drysdale was in the middle of his scoreless streak. Nick Dietz, a catcher for the Giants, leaned out over the plate, got hit by a pitch. The umpire said it was intentional, and they kept the at-bat alive. He retired Dietz, and the scoreless streak continued.
Slider backs Iwamura away. 1 ball, no strike. So much of this Tampa Bay offense predicated on their running attack. We've seen a lot of home runs hit in this series. Do you figure Bartlett will be off to the races here?
Yeah, if he feels comfortable about his jump against Beckett, he will. Terry Francona feels that they can't stop the Rays running. In the postseason, they're 16 for 16, and a catcher has not thrown out a Rays base stealer this postseason.
Bartlett was 20 for 26 in regular season play, and is back standing at first.
But Terry Francona knows that, though. There's so much speed on this team that it's really hard for him to go and try to stop that running game, because right now Veritek's not throwing as well as he's thrown in the beginning of the season, and he wants to make sure his pitchers are concentrated on the hitters and his fielders hold their position.
Well, that's the beauty of a stolen base. It creates so many distractions. The catcher's distracted, the pitcher's distracted, and the infielders have to peek at the base runner to see if he's breaking for second. They too are distracted.
That's a ball low. 2 balls, no strikes.
And when a pitcher's distracted, a hitter has a chance to hurt him.
Beckett missing high and away. 3-0 your count.
Well, one thing is consistent. The strike zone's the same for both pitchers. That's all you can ask. Establish it and stay with it.
And how many times have we said a little play can mean big things in the postseason? Bartlett just leaning in. Down 2 strikes in the count. Gets hit by a pitch, sending Beckett to the stretch.
Well, and the problem is Babe Ruth's on deck.
Yeah,
that's right.
B.J. Upton waits next.
I believe you start the runner in this situation because if you can't get a double play, then Upton comes to the plate with at least 1 man on. They have proven to be aggressive all season long and into the postseason. Why stop running now?
Rays stole 142 bags in the regular season. Runner holds and the pitch popped up. It'll be Pedroia making the catch. Iwamura's retired. Bartlett at first. 2 outs now for Upton.
Well, 3-2 fastball to Upton. Supposed to be away. Left over the middle plate. Up in the strike zone. And Upton has not missed any of those. Of course, it's a catwalk home run.
This is a man that hit 128 with 1 homer and 2 RBIs against the Red Sox in the regular season. He has 4 home runs in this ALCS and 7 home runs in his last 27 postseason at-bats. And Upton takes a strike and chasing some history against Boston here tonight.
Most home runs in a postseason in Major League history. Barry Bonds in 2002 with 8. Then Beltran had that great run with the Astros in 2004. Goss in the Angels in 2002. And then B.J. Upton with 7. And his teammate just one behind that.
Red Sox 2, Rays 1. Boston trying again somehow, some way to get this series back even. Oh, 2. Plenty of balance on this Tampa Bay club. Power and speed, and very quickly add poise.
You would think that sooner or later Beckett is going to shift gears and continue to work Upton away. They have been beaten so many times trying to get the ball inside to B.J. Upton. You just got to go away from it and maybe even stay soft. You can't force it if you can't get the ball inside. He's hit every time they've tried to come inside. Again, a little confusion and disagreement between Beckett and Veritek. You see him shake his head and said, nope, not going there. Been there before and it hurts.
I think the changeup down is a good pitch to B.J. Upton, a pitch they haven't used yet.
1-2. Tied him up inside.
That time they went down instead of up, and that's a different swing from Upton.
I think both Upton and Longoria are very similar hitters in the sense that if you can keep the ball down and keep the ball away, and that's a big part of the park. We've seen all the home runs have been up and in, and it's been left field home runs. It's not that the Red Sox don't have the game plan for these guys. They do. They just haven't executed it.
I'll tell you what, B.J. Upton's done a pretty good job of laying off bad pitches as well. He's in one of those things right now where he's seeing the ball very well.
has worked the count even, 2-2. Bartlett still anchored at first after being hit with an 0-2 pitch and represents the tying run. Upton now, 2-2 count. Fought off another breaking pitch.
Well, the key for this pitch, good job by Upton fouling off, but the pitch is away and down.
And he covers it pretty well.
Yeah.
Stays back, uses his hand, gets extension, and just spoils a pretty good pitch. That's a confidence builder for a hitter. Saying, well, he made a good pitch, and I fouled it off.
It's interesting to see with struggling in the postseason when Beckett and Veritek have had a hard time in every start they've had this postseason getting together on the signs.
Little cue shot back to the mound, and Beckett is out of third inning trouble. He gets the shutdown inning he needed so badly, and the Red Sox are in front by a run. We are back in St. Petersburg, Florida, getting set for the top of the fourth inning with the Red Sox leading by a 2-1 score. And something you never want to see has happened here tonight. Home plate umpire Darrell Cousins is going to apparently come out of this ball game, at least seek medical attention after he is hit in the jaw and looked like the right collarbone on that foul ball off the bat of Jason Veritek.
Yeah, Darrell Cousins is a crew chief during the regular season. He gets hit on this foul ball off the bat of Veritek. It just skips past the catcher, catches Cousins on the mask and the shoulder blade. That's an area where the collarbone might come into harm's way. But the umpires are very vulnerable. You can see how wide open he is as he stands back behind the catcher, right in that gap between the hitter and the catcher.
And there is a little hole between that chest protector and that mask right where that shoulder blade occurs. And you can see Tim McClellan, the crew chief, calling everyone to come in, all of his umpires to come in. It looks like Darrell Cousins is going to be leaving the ball game.
Well, Ron Porterfield, the Rays trainer, came out and checked, and Tim McClellan's calling everyone in to address the situation. McClellan is the crew chief in this situation. Darrell Cousins has 29 years of major league experience, and obviously he didn't want to leave this situation. Alfonso Marquez, who's at right field, had the plate last night. So now McClellan will get his umpires together and just see how they can best handle this injury replacement, if that is indeed the case.
So while the umpires sort things out, we will step aside, take a break, and talk about how this could impact the strike zone in tonight's ballgame, which has been a big part of this Game 6 story here at Tropicana Field. Our American League Championship Series coverage on TBS is presented by Kia Motors. With Buck Martinez, Ron Darling, Chip Carey back in St. Petersburg, Florida, awaiting the start of our fourth inning tonight. Darrell Cousins, the home plate umpire, leaves with an apparent injury, and as soon as we hear the extent of that injury, we will pass that along to you, and certainly we hope it's nothing serious. So, whole new kettle of fish to talk about. How does this affect the umpire's rotation, gentlemen? How does this affect the strike zone tonight, which has been very tight and complained about by James Shields?
Well, the pitchers are obviously throwing to the same umpire, so I think both pitchers have been affected by it. But obviously everybody has their own individual strike zone, and certainly now with Questek and everybody being scrutinized on their strike zone, generally strike zone have become more conservative. But obviously with an injury like this, I would expect Tim McClellan will have an opportunity to meet with the umpires. They'll decide what the best situation is. If I were in their shoes, and Major League Baseball is going to also be involved, Jim McKean, umpiring supervisor, is in the building. I would use Sam Holbrook to finish out this game. He's umping at second. He is up game 2 in this series, and I would keep the crew chief, Tim McClellan, should there be a game 7, and have him call home plate in game 7.
Yeah, interesting call. You know, Shields pitched game 1. If you went to McClellan, you'd have McClellan, who's already seen James Shields in the first game. I think the bigger question, though, really is the wait for James Shields. Now has to sit on the bench, wait for this decision to be made, wait for the new umpire behind home plate to come out, and then try to get untracked again. And his control has suffered anyways at the beginning of this game.
This has been a rough year for umpires. There have been a lot of umpires that have been knocked out physically because of concussion Kerwin Danley, who umpired in the division series, was knocked out for a long time. But you can see how exposed the umpires are, especially with the inside chest protector now. And Daryl Cousins, who wears the conventional umpire's mask with that extension, got rocked behind the plate. Tim McClellan waves in the entire crew as they will go back in and address the situation and then make a decision as to who will continue behind the plate.
So we are still awaiting word on that. We're awaiting word on Daryl Cousins' injury, and we're also awaiting word on how the umpires will line up when play resumes in St. Pete. Still awaiting return of the umpiring crew for the 4th inning of Game 6 of this American League Championship Series. Red Sox lead the game 2-1, and you can get exclusive camera angles, behind-the-scenes info, and more online with TBS Hot Corner. Check it out now at MLB.com/TBS Hot Corner. Let's check in with Craig Sager. Craig?
When we get a definitive report on home plate umpire Daryl Cousins, we will let you know. As for James Shields, the starting pitcher for Tampa Bay, Joe Madden has talked to Tim McClellan, the crew chief, and said, what should I do with Shields? Should you throw on the sideline to stay warm? And Tim McClellan says, no, when we do resume play, we'll let Shields take the mound and take as many pitches as he feels necessary to get loose and to be ready.
All right, Craig, thank you very much. And there is some precedence for an umpire injury in League Championship Series play. October 14th of 1992 in Game 7 of the National League Championship Series between the Braves and the Pittsburgh Pirates. John McSherry left in the 3rd inning with an injury in that game. First base umpire Randy Marsh moved to the plate. Ed Montague, the right field umpire, moved over to first base in that ball game, and that was the Sid Bream slide game at Old Atlanta Fulton County Stadium, head-to-head with the Braves and the Pittsburgh Pirates, and we'll see if that's the way they rotate when they return for the 4th inning tonight in St. Pete.
I was just thinking, wouldn't it be interesting if the umpires, when they did these series, have an extra umpire who sits in the umpire's room, watches the game, and if there is an injury, then he definitely moves into the rotation, and that way you allow to still keep those umpires down the right and left field line, where it's so important in this ballpark because of the catwalk problem.
Craig mentioned a few moments ago, Ronnie, that Shields will have as much time as he wants to get loose and get back in the flow of this ball game. As a starting pitcher, is that easier said than done?
I think it is easier said than done. Look at, he's trying to stretch and stay loose. A lot of it happens from, starting pitchers are creatures of habit. They're used to having those 8 warm-up pitches in between innings, and let's go get them. But, this is definitely going to affect both he and Josh Beckett, and it'll be interesting to see which one, the veteran Beckett or the younger Shields, comes out of this stronger.
Well, another thing that Shields has had to deal with is the fact that he was the scheduled starter in Game 5, and he got prepared for that in Boston, and then he was scratched, and they used Kazmir in Game 5, so he's probably prepared for 2 starts this week and has not pitched since last Friday.
And Joe Madden said that extra rest this time of year for him is not at all a problem with his command, and 3 walks in the first 3 innings certainly tells you that he is not as sharp as he was in Game 1 for sure.
Yeah, he hasn't been all over the place. He's definitely been just missing off the corners. I will say, though, what you said, Buck, Game 7 of the 1986 World Series, I had to start it, rained out. So another day. So got prepared for that day, came to the ballpark, rained out, came back the next day, and I'll tell you, I was not physically but mentally fatigued from having your family, leaving the tickets, coming to the ballpark, ready to go. Trying to do that twice in 2 days, sometimes a difficult thing.
Let's check it again with Craig.
Well, the head athletic trainer for Tampa Bay, Ron Porterfield, is still attending to Daryl Cousins, as is the doctor staff from Tampa Bay. However, we have been told that the crew chief, Tim McClellan, is going to take over behind the plate for the injured Daryl Cousins. So it'll be McClellan who we see behind the plate for the rest of the game.
All right, Craig, thank you very much. So you go from Cousins to McClellan calling balls and strikes.
I think it's an easier move for Shields because McClellan did the first game of the series with Shields on the mound. So he knows Tim McClellan's strike zone and will try to pitch accordingly.
Yeah, knowing the strike zone and being able to hit the corners is 2 different things. He doesn't have command right now, and he's got to fight to get that command back. But you can see Brian Gorman and the rest of the umpires are waiting now for McClellan to change uniform, get his catching gear underneath his uniform, and then resume action. But you can see they're close because James Shields has come out and begun to toss his warm-ups.
So a lengthy delay after 3. Here's the scoring of Game 6. It was the Rays drawing first blood in the first inning. B.J. Upton off Josh Beckett hits the catwalk. His 4th home run of this series put the Rays in front 1-0. Boston, however, came back in the second. Kevin Youkilis appears to have figured out Shields.
Well, he has now 2 hits in his last game after coming into that game 0 for 17 and a home run there to tie it up.
And then with a runner at third base, Kevin Youkilis grounds to short, scoring at Pedroia, putting Boston in front 2-1. Another must-win situation for them. As you see the game summary, Shields 3 innings, 5 hits, 3 walks. Josh Beckett just 1 hit in his 3 innings tonight as he tries to force a decisive Game 7 here tomorrow evening.
It was very interesting in our pregame discussion with Terry Francona how he kept talking about 8 innings from Beckett. I mean, he did it just so casually. It made you think that Beckett really made it to the fountain of youth or something in between this start and his last, because he was very confident. He said, well, if we get 8 innings from Beckett, then our bullpen is set up perfect. I mean, that would really be some effort by Josh Beckett, given the fact that he has struggled so far in this postseason.
Tim McClelland, as you see, has the home plate umpiring gear on. He'll load up with baseballs, and we'll check in again with Craig Sager.
Well, as you see, Daryl Cousins has not come back onto the field. He's still being attended to. They will go with a 5 umpiring crew, and the left field foul line will be left open. I asked why left field instead of right field. They said we had to make a choice between the two. We feel with the lights and all, it's an easier call down the left field line than the right field line. So we'll have 5 umpires, and the empty spot will be down that left field line.
All right, Craig, thank you very much. So there's Tim McClelland, the man that worked the plate in the 2-0 series opener at Tropicana Field. You see the rest of the umpires making sure they have their assignments with 1 less man for this Game 6 ALCS.
Brian O'Nora, who is going to work at second base, making sure that they have the proper rotation now, giving the unusual number of umpires. They work all year long with 4, in the postseason with 6. Now they have 5, so you've got to make sure you've got each other covered on the rotation on balls hit to the outfield.
So Jed Lowry steps in. Shields ready to go. Tim McClelland behind the plate, and Lowry 0 for 1 in the game. And a 15-minute delay, and the first pitch from Shields misses high. Two balls, no strikes. And Shields 3 in a row out of the zone.
Yeah, he has not had his control at all at any point in this game. As we mentioned, he's a strike throwing machine when he's right.
A 4-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio in the regular season. And only 3 walks combined in this entire postseason coming into tonight's Game 6. He has 3 in his first 3 innings tonight. And a drive hammered foul right side fills up the count to Jed Lowry, the Boston shortstop, leading off the 4th.
As good as Shields has been in this ballpark this season, 10-3, including the postseason in 19 starts, he has not pitched well after a Rays loss.
High fly ball left center field that Upton should have no trouble catching.
Shields' record after a Rays loss, just 4-5. Not exactly what you think you get from your ace, and he truly is the ace of this staff.
And he had 14 of those starts after Tampa Bay losses, and the team was 7-7, 500.
So he retires the Boston leadoff man in the 4th for Jason Varitek, 0 for 13 in this series. One ball, no strikes.
You can tell he's struggling with his control. Navarro calls for a fastball down and away. The ball misses up and in.
And straight back at us to even the count.
That's very difficult for a pitcher and for the catcher, because the catcher's trying to build a game plan, and when you're calling pitches and you aren't able to locate those pitches, it really throws you out of any pattern whatsoever.
pop fly over the Boston dugout. And 2-2. The word over the press box PA system. Cousins left with a blow to the chest area. And the initial word is he's expected to be okay. Perhaps back for Game 7 if there is a Game 7 tomorrow. 2-2. Veritek bounces to Pena. Handcuffed him. Plenty of time with the catcher running 2 out.
You know, we've been talking about James Shields and how he's got out of sync. First here, the ground ball by Veritek. Had a lot of topspin on it. Really eats up Pena, but he stays with it. A good toss to Shields and plenty of time. You know, let's not forget about, not only has he had a lot of time off, how about the enormity of this event here? You know, a chance for a big game, James, to pitch a big game to put Tampa Bay in the World Series.
Trails 2-1 with 2 outs, and Coco Crisp the batter. And he strokes a shot over Iwamura's glove and into right field for a 2-out hit.
Well, Terry Francona made the move to put Coco Crisp in the lineup after Ellsbury struggled so that Crisp really continues to encourage his manager that he made the right decision. He had a bunt single on the first pitch of the ball game. And now he's had his second hit. He was picked off in the first inning, and you got to believe he's going to try to work for a lead here, even though he was picked off.
80 pitches for Shields in this game, and he's not out of the 4th yet. And a strike to the Boston second baseman. Boy, walking into the Red Sox locker room before Game 5, you saw all of those players sitting in front of their lockers, contemplating the enormity of Game 5. And Pedroia led that charge as he takes the ball low to even the count.
They're all looking at each other with kind of those half crazy smiles, didn't they? That they were eyeing each other out, saying, hey, you ready? Because I'm ready. I'm ready to go. Watching them stretch today, you see a lot of teams, they have a festive when they stretch. You have a lot of back and forth. None of that with the Red Sox today. All business.
And not surprisingly, it was Pedroia's hit that started the rally late in Game 5. And he bats here with a man aboard in the Boston 4th.
I think if you're going to pitch to Pedroia and have success, you've got to stay away from it. Much like B.J. Upton, you can't beat him with a fastball. It can be up to his tap, and he can get on top of a fastball inside. I think you're better off staying away and staying with off-speed pitches.
And he does have a giant hole on the right side of the infield if he chooses to poke one that way. Gross very shallow in the Rays outfield.
Good call there, Chip. Gross. You see the regular outfield is left and center, playing probably where you're supposed to play. But Gabe Gross very shallow in right field. Does not have the speed of Crawford and Upton.
Runner goes. And he took a shot at right field and stays alive. A ball, 2 strikes.
Remember, the Red Sox have not been able to run. They've just stolen 1 base in this series, and it's been a very important part of their offense all year long. But they haven't had too many leadoff hitters on. They've been trailing, so they haven't had the opportunity to take advantage of one of their most important weapons. That's the stolen base.
And their best base stealer is sitting on the bench.
That man, Jacoby Ellsbury. Crisp replaced him in the lineup. Stands at first with 2 out. Not going this time, and it's in the dirt.
DeMarlo Hale, the third base coach, will flash more than likely the stop sign. Coco Crisp has a green light. Has the ability to run on his own. Most good base runners like the freedom of checking out the pitcher and the move.
And just to make sure, Shields forces Crisp back to first.
Made Martinez the bench coach with the running game defense.
Runners starts, then stops, and Pedroia is down on strikes. Shields gives up a 2-out hit and nothing else. Middle of the fourth inning. Rays down a run. 3, 4, and 5 coming up for the Rays in Game 4 of the American League Championship Series. Josh Beckett has allowed 1 hit tonight. That hit left the ballpark off the bat of B.J. Upton in the first inning. Now Pena, Longoria, and Crawford face him for a second time. Shift is on for the Red Sox defensively as Beckett misses high and away for ball 1.
But you can see Euclid is guarding against the bunt. Pena's done it in this series, so he can't go behind second base. Has to make sure that he holds the ground and tries to take that bunt away from Pena if he chooses to go that way.
1 ball, no strikes. Popped up, center of the diamond. Euclid is in, right behind Beckett, and he makes the catch to retire Pena. Time to talk, brought to you by Charles Schwab. John Farrell, the Boston pitching coach, noticing the different method of Josh Beckett's madness tonight.
Well, there's no doubt he's using his curveball and changeup a little bit more as an overall mix tonight, but I think most importantly, we're just trying to get him to leverage the ball downhill as consistently as possible.
What's that do to a hitter from his perspective, getting the ball on a downhill plane, John?
Well, Buck, I think when, Josh is pretty much a drop and drive pitcher, and a lot of times the hitter will see the flat side of the baseball when he's trying to get his full power, but if we can get him downhill where the hitter's only got the view of the top part of the baseball, and it'll be a little bit more difficult for the hitter to lift. Upton obviously lifted the ball in the first inning, but overall, just trying to get him in the bottom of the strike zone as much as possible.
Can a pitcher concern himself with a change of umpires midstream like's happened today?
Well, this is kind of an uncommon situation, but, as focused and as, together as Josh is on the mound, it won't matter that Tim McClellan's replaced Darryl Cousins back there tonight, but it's a matter of just executing pitches.
And so far tonight, with only 1 hit, Beckett is indeed executing his pitches as he nurses a 2-1 advantage. But the Boston bullpen is busy.
Very interesting to have the left-hander Lopez warming up. Tells you that maybe feeling some of the effects of that oblique is Josh Beckett.
Well, the 2 spots that you concern yourself with in this inning would be Carl Crawford and Cliff Floyd, back-to-back left-handers.
Fly ball off the end of the bat. Crisp broke back. Now comes in. He recovers cleanly. 2 out. Carl Crawford saw 1 pitch back in the second inning and grounded out to Pedroia. And that one caught the inside corner. Crawford went 5 for 5 in Game 4. He is 0 for 5 since. And the count to him evens a ball and a strike. Cowbells are quiet right now with Beckett giving just 1 hit to the Rays tonight and leading the game in the 4th inning.
You watch the body language of Beckett doing a lot of stretching with that right arm. Looks a little uncomfortable.
One and 2. Just did stay alive in this Tampa Bay fourth.
Making some pretty good pitches with his fastball inside right now. He started out Crawford with a strike on the inside corner, and then he tied him up pretty effectively there with that pitch.
He's doing a nice job of moving the ball inside and outside. Fastball in, now fastball away.
So he is definitely pitching his way, not powering his way through this lineup tonight.
And you can still do that with your fastball, but you have to throw it to spots, and I think that's what he's doing better than he did before. See the pitch count there, 53, 34 strikes.
Another 1-2 to Crawford. Little flare, shallow left, base hit.
Just a little lob serve over the shortstop's head with 2 strikes. This is what you're supposed to do, protect the strike zone. And this pitch is off the plate, down, out, away from Carl Crawford. He extends, just uses that bottom hand to flip it into left field.
And the Rays like to run even with 2 outs. Crawford stole 25 bags in the regular season. Has a couple in this American League Championship Series. Cliff Floyd, the hitter. Buck mentioned how the Red Sox intend to defend the steal against this Rays attack tonight. No movement as Floyd is buzzed inside, ball 1.
Well, Crawford was picked off by Beckett in game 2 here after he had singled to drive in a run. And he just got caught napping, took his eye off Beckett just for a moment, and Beckett went to first quickly, and he was surprised by the snap throw.
Carl measures off a good lead at first. Floyd right on top of the plate. Now has an even count.
Game 2, 3rd inning, after Crawford had put the Rays ahead, he gets caught napping and stumbles back to first base. Good tag by Kotsay for the pickoff. Has lost his concentration for a moment, took his eye off the pitcher. It's something you can never do when you're off the bag. In a situation like this, Terry Francona had mentioned he would not move the defense with 2 outs, figuring if they're not going to throw out Crawford and just keep your defensive positions, hopefully getting the 3rd out. Might be a little early to do that, but we'll see what he thinks about the ability to catch Crawford stealing.
He's going. Good jump. The pitch is a strike. The throw late.
Lowry held his ground as long as possible, and there was no swing, so he had to cover. Look at the shortstop there behind the mound, and he's breaking toward the bag, and the throw just not nearly in time to get Crawford, and they have yet to be caught by a catcher during the postseason.
You know, a lot will happen also. That was a curveball as you see Crawford get that big jump. A lot of times when a catcher is thinking about a fast base runner, he'll go to the fastball to try to give himself an advantage. But the pitch selection, more important than throwing Crawford out.
Tampa Bay 10 for 10 in steals in this series alone. And now a hit could tie the game with the speedy Crawford in scoring position, 2 outs. And Beckett again tried the back door, the pitch that retired Floyd back in the 2nd inning.
Cousins called it for a strike. Tim McClellan did not.
It's against form.
Navarro waits on deck. 2-2 count. And a ground ball right side. Kotsay, a little snow cone. Beckett to the bag, beat his man and held on. Inning over. Mark Kotsay fed Josh Beckett, and the Rays are retired in the 4th. A bang-bang play at first. We go to the 5th. Red Sox still leading.
The American League Championship Series on TBS is brought to you by Sprint, the Simply Everything plan, only on the Now Network. And by Applebee's, it's a whole new neighborhood.
Here we go to the 5th inning. Good pitchers duel tonight. James Shields, Josh Beckett, David Ortiz to hit. He has struck out and he has doubled. And Shields misses high and outside again as we've reached the top of the 10 o'clock hour tonight in St. Petersburg, Florida. Game 6 of this American League Championship Series on TBS. One ball and one strike. Again, 3 defenders on the right side of the Tampa Bay infield. Pena guarding the line at first. Iwamura shallow right. Bartlett, the shortstop, playing where the second baseman normally does, and Longoria almost behind the second base bag.
Big curveball right there finds the strike zone. Just another pitch to put in the heads of the Red Sox hitter. Shields has been fastball changeup most of the night with an occasional breaking ball, but it's good that he's bringing in the curveball.
2-2.
Red Sox hitters are doing a fine job of not swinging at that changeup in the dirt. But he struck out Ortiz the first time, a lot of slow stuff, and then he surprised him for the fastball away.
91st pitch of the night is hit a mile high into left center field. It'll tail back toward Crawford. One of the rare times in this series, guys, that Ortiz has hit the ball the other way.
Yeah, he has just not been himself, and because of that, he has struggled mightily in this postseason. That time, he was just hitting with 2 strikes, got the bad pitch away, just stays on it, but he doesn't drive it. It looks like a cutter that's down and in. You can see how he just feels for it. He's not really driving the ball to the opposite field. He's out in front early, committed to that front side, and didn't have much to hit the ball with.
Kevin Youkilis has both Boston RBIs tonight. A homer in the second and a ground out in inning number 3.
You can see the frustration of Big Papi. He knows he's missing pitches he usually covers.
Line to third. Longoria's got that, 2 out.
Boy, this is a typical James Shields start in that he didn't start out great, but here he is pitching effectively in the 5th inning. He was 4th in the major leagues, averaging just over 14.5 pitches per inning. And now he's had a reasonably quick inning here in the 5th.
Needs a quick inning.
Boy, he does.
J.D. Drew, the hitter, has singled, has walked. Red Sox have left 6 men on base in this game as a fly ball hit to right. Gross going back. That ball's over his head and off the base of the wall. Drew on his way to second with a 2-out hit.
And this is what prolongs innings when you get 2-out hits. Gross playing a little shallower, not able to get back. And J.D. Drew, when he gets locked in, you'll see a lot of these line drives off the bat of Drew.
Got a beautiful swing, and he's really extending the ball now and hitting that ball out in front of the hitting zone. That ball has a lot of carry on it, just like the game winner in Game 5 sailed over the head of Gabe Gross.
Hard to tell when you're getting close to that wall if you're an outfielder here because there's no real warning track.
Jason Bay jumps at the first pitch and pops it up. Gross comes in. He's got it. Shields has an easy 5th. Drew left stranded. Red Sox have left 7 men through 5. Dioner Navarro leads off the 5th for the Rays, and Josh Beckett back out there and powers a fastball in for a strike.
Navarro, his first time up, first pitch swinging, made an out to right field. You ever see a hitter, very rarely, if they make an out on one pitch in their first at bat, will not swing at that next pitch and the next at bat.
Well, Josh Beckett really took a long time between warm-up pitches getting ready to start this 5th inning.
He's obviously pitching in some pain. You can see the body language, just trying to, in between pitches, get as loose as he can to fire a strike in there.
That's pulled foul. A ball and 2 strikes.
This happened after the end of the 4th inning, where Beckett came in and had a discussion with John Farrell, and Terry Francona comes over and gets involved, and Beckett would eventually go inside for a while, and they made a phone call down to the bullpen, and now as Beckett starts this inning, Okajima is up with him, throwing down in the bullpen.
A lot of times you'll go in between innings to go, and the trainer will rub some hot balm that'll make sometimes that injury feel a little better.
But again, a 15-minute delay with Darryl Cousins departing because of injury. And a looping line drive right field. Leadoff hit for Navarro. Wonder if at this point the delay has hurt Beckett more than it's hurt James Shields, who has the higher pitch count.
I think it did. I think what happens sometimes is that you go out there, you get it warm, your injury, and you go out there and then it gets cold again, and you got to go out there and fire it up again.
It's so hard to tell the immediate impact because he's not been good in any postseason start, so we don't have much to compare it to.
So Ben Zobrist will come on and bat for Gabe Gross here in the 5th inning.
Gabe Gross just has not had a good ALCS. He's taken several bad swings, and he struck out looking in the 3rd inning.
Gross 0 for 10. And now Zobrist replaces him, looking for his first base hit in this ALCS. And his first hit in this postseason for the Tampa Bay Rays. Good breaking ball has him behind 0-2.
Zobrist came over here to Tampa Bay in a deal with the Houston Astros that sent Aubrey Huff over to Houston. He's become their super utility player. He is naturally a shortstop this spring. Joe Madden asked him to be an outfielder, and he's played in the outfield. He's played all around the infield, and he's become a super utility player for them.
And that's up and away. As we told you, Darryl Cousins left with a bruised clavicle. That's the official word. They did take x-rays. Those were apparently clear. And it's hoped that he will be able to return to action if there is a Game 7 here tomorrow. Rays are hoping to finish off the Red Sox tonight and go to the World Series. They're down a run in the 5th inning with 1 on and nobody out. Fly ball center. Crisp playing deeply, charges in aggressively. 1 out. Zobrist 0 for 3 in the postseason. Now Bartlett's up. This will be an interesting confrontation. Remember, with 2 strikes, Beckett threw a pitch inside. It grazed Bartlett on the elbow, and he took first in the 3rd inning.
Well, it'll be something that Josh Beckett will not forget, but it was something that will not be addressed at this time. The game is a little more important than any of those things. Trying to get a ground ball off the bat of Bartlett.
Veritek wants a sign again from Brad Mills, the bench coach, as far as controlling the running game, and he's going to throw over. Brad Mills, a longtime coach with Terry Francona, has total control of the running game, and this is not a running situation with the catcher at first, but Veritek always checks with him. And there's Mill going through the signs, different options that they have: slide step, throw over, pitch out.
Top of the Tampa Bay order next. If Bartlett could reach, Iwamura waits on deck. Runner goes, pitch high, the throw to second, right on the money and in time. Navarro was 0 for 4 in stolen bases in the regular season. He was thrown out easily by Veritek here in the 5th.
Well, this is a hit and run, and it's a curveball. You can see Bartlett had to duck out of the way of it because it was so far up and in. And Navarro is easy picking for Veritek. The high breaking ball, an easy pitch to throw for the catcher, right on the money to Pedroia.
So Beckett can go back to the windup now with the bases empty. And Bartlett ahead in the count 1-0.
You put a hit and run on like that, and as a hitter, you're thinking out over the plate, just protecting, and then you get a backup breaking ball, you're ducking out of the way, and you can't even swing at it.
Swing and a miss. First caught stealing from a catcher in the postseason for the Tampa Bay running game, and it's Deoner Navarro who was gunned out by Jason Veritek. That again quiets the crowd. Boy, we've heard some quiet home crowds in this ALCS this year.
Wheels are spinning right there. When do you go to the bullpen?
Yeah, I think he's just keeping a keen eye on his starting pitcher. You see Okajima has been throwing, shadowing Beckett, making sure that he could get ready in 4, 5, 6 pitches.
Swing and a drive down the left field line. If it's fair, it's gone. Jason Bartlett had 1 home run all year. He just tied the game.
It's another hanging breaking ball, and he's seen it before in this at bat, and he liked this one. He was able to keep it fair just inside the left field foul pole and deep into the seats. No stride whatsoever, and you're able to get your hands through because it's a hanging curveball.
So how big is the caught stealing? 2-2. Beckett's allowed another home run. That's 6 home runs now in a little over 11 innings of postseason work. Upton got him in the first. Bartlett gets him in the 5th, and now the crowd back in this game.
And that's also 5 leads that Josh Beckett has coughed up now. What a tail with that curveball. Curveball hit him. His first at bat, ducked out of a curveball on a hit and run and missed it. Then the curveball inside hits a home run.
Beckett just missed the corner. 2 balls and a strike. And Terry Francona working that gum in a do-or-die game for his Red Sox.
This home run by Jason Bartlett, just his 2nd of the season, but it's the 6th allowed by Josh Beckett in this postseason. That is 1 shy of the postseason record for home runs allowed by a pitcher. These guys have lived and died with the home run.
Full count.
Pitchers have given up 7 home runs in a single postseason. That was his 7th because he gave up 1 earlier to B.J. Upton, so he has tied that postseason record with 7 home runs allowed.
And that's 11 innings and 1/3 worth of work. Hot shot to third. Yuko's to his left. And the throw retires Iwamura and the Rays. But Bartlett's home run ties the game 2-2. We go to the 6th inning in Game 6. TBS presents a very funny festival with a very funny lineup. See Jerry Seinfeld, Dane Cook, Cheech and Chong, and many more live. The funniest names in comedy will be at the Comedy Festival November 20 through 22 in Las Vegas. Buy tickets now at thecomedyfestival.com. Mark Kotsay leads off the Red Sox 6th. And a new right fielder in the game for the Tampa Bay Rays. Ben Zobrist remains in the game for Joe Madden. Boston has left 7 men on base through 5 tonight.
It's the most discussion you'll ever see between a pitcher and his pitching coach in between innings.
Line caught, Umpire.
Umpire has played as good as any second baseman in the league this year, and it's pretty remarkable to take the transition from third base to second base, and he times this one perfectly. This ball's headed into right field, but he leaps, grabs it, and comes down with the first out of the inning.
Again, another good at-bat by Mark Kotsay with a ball down in the strike zone. Disappointment.
He's hit the ball right on the button a lot with very little to show for it. Here's Lowry. He's flied out twice, both times to center. And he's down a strike as the Rays bullpen now starts to work. Shields right at 100 pitches in this game.
He's remarkable in his ability to make adjustments in the course of the game. He didn't look like he was going to last 2 innings when he started out.
And those opportunities Boston had in the middle innings might cost them tonight.
It's interesting for a starting pitcher. If you're patient enough, throw enough strikes, try to work yourself back in the game, it can just snap like that and come together for you. Throwing better right now is he's throwing all game.
That's strike 3 call. 2 outs, base is clear. Let's check in with Craig.
Well, James Shields has thrown 103 pitches, as you mentioned so far. To put that in perspective, back on April 27th, a great pitching duel between Shields and Beckett. Beckett struck out a career-high 13, pitching 7 innings, but Shields, his first complete game shutout, he won the game 3-0 through just 98 pitches the entire game. He's already up over 100 here in the 6th.
Thank you, Craig. Now he faces Varitek, who is 0 for 14 in this series.
Now, as a starting pitcher, you have to have the ability not to panic. When you go out there and you don't have your A game, you've got to keep plugging away.
What you try to do is you try to maintain, you try to limit some of the damage that you're going to give up early. Try to manage your innings.
Stay away from the crooked numbers.
Now the 2-0. Swing and a drive hammered right field. Pretty well hit. That ball is gone. A home run for Varitek. His first hit of the series puts the Red Sox back in front.
1 for 15 against Shields before this swing. Just his second hit, and he couldn't have gotten a bigger one.
And Shields, of course, can't believe that that ball went out of the ballpark. You imagine on a season that Varitek did not have a good offensive season, a big hit like that in the postseason almost makes up for it.
So back to the top now on Coco Crisp. And again, this crowd in St. Pete quiets as Varitek gives Josh Beckett another 1-run lead. That one off the foot. Iwamura has no play. Crisp has a hit, his third of this game.
Well, a little breaking ball inside and down to Crisp. Hit it right where it came back from. Looked like he hit it in the back of the right foot, caught his glove, and by that time, Uemura does not have a play at first base. Coco Crisp has shown something offensively.
He's 6. Make that 8 for 15 in this series. And that is going to be the end of the night, it appears, for James Shields and the Tampa Bay Rays. Joe Madden, a pat on the back. His right-hander battled early, battled middle, battled late. And the captain, Jason Varitek, has put the Red Sox in front 3-2. Back and forth we go in game 6. 3-2, Boston in front. The captain, Jason Varitek, puts the Red Sox back in front.
Well, just a nice level swing, and that ball carried out of the ballpark over the head of right fielder Zobrist into the first row. Look at the reaction to that bench. They know, when a guy is struggling, it's not gotten a hit in the postseason. Behind him 100%.
Well, you pull a little harder for your captain when you know he's been struggling, and Varitek is the epitome of what this team is all about. He comes to work every day with a big lunch bucket and just straps it on, does whatever he can to help his team win. And everybody, I don't care who you are, everybody wants to contribute offensively.
Yes.
So J.P. Howell is on to try to end this Boston 6th inning.
Well, he's been used a lot, obviously. He was used in that decisive game in Boston when the Red Sox came back from a 7-0 deficit. He gave up the hit to J.D. Drew to take the loss. This is an interesting matchup. J.P. Howell against Dustin Pedroia. These two played high school against one another out in Sacramento. Pedroia went to Woodland High School and Howell went to Jesuit. They have been in this situations many times before.
And Pedroia hit a ball hard against Howell in the 9th inning of game 5. That was that 5-6-3 ricochet shot that retired Dustin in the 9th inning. And Howell a quick strike.
Well, the reason that Joe likes this matchup is that usually with Howell you're going to see a lot of breaking pitches, a lot of curveballs and changeups. Of course, Pedroia is the notorious fastball hitter.
And it gets a long look at Coco Crisp leading from first in this 6th inning with 2 outs as well, so he can neutralize the running game and keep the deficit at 1 perhaps. Pedroia has walked, scored, popped out, and struck out so far tonight.
Well, Pedroia knows how, as we mentioned. He knows he's got a fastball, upper 80s, but not much more, and a very good curveball and a very effective changeup. Boston's done a good job getting 2-out hits in this series. They have 24 compared to just 9 for Tampa Bay.
And 2 of those 24 in this 6th inning. Ball 2, strike 1. Shields went 5 2/3 tonight. 9 hits.
Howell with a mistake there on that 1-1 pitch, that breaking ball up in the strike zone. He's got to keep it down against Pedroia.
Runner goes, good jump. Swing, chopper hit toward short. Bartlett's got it. Throw to first, bad throw. Crisp around to third. He'll stop there, and they're at the corners. He's 6, and the inning remains alive.
Well, the errors have been a problem for Tampa Bay in this series. That's the 5th error they've committed, and this one by the very sure-handed Jason Bartlett. Had plenty of time. He just throws wide of the mark. No chance at all for Pena to make a play on it.
Well, these really right here are just tight errors, aren't they, Buck? The enormity of the game. So Coco Crisp had to wait for that throw, then proceeds on to third base. I mean, that's a throw 999 times out of 1,000 that Bartlett is going to make on the mark.
So here's David Ortiz. He has doubled in 3 trips tonight. Five errors in the last 3 games for the Tampa Bay defense. And a strike to Ortiz. On the other side, the Red Sox. No errors in the last 88 postseason innings.
You have to go all the way back to the 3rd inning against the series against in the ALCS. Sorry, ALDS, where Lowry made an error at shortstop against the Angels.
David Ortiz has 1 career hit against Howell. It's in 12 at-bats, and it was a home run. And he has a huge gap between the second base bag and Longoria, who has to keep Crisp honest over at third base.
And then you see the shortstop Bartlett at second base there, and out into right field is Ewell Moore. Very exaggerated shift on the right side of the diamond.
Ortiz hit the ball toward left his last time up. Will it serve him well in the 6th inning of a 1-run game? Line drive, right center field. Upton can't get it. Base hit, a run is in. It's 4-2 Boston.
Doesn't make many swings to get Big Papi back into the flow of things. 3-run home run in game 5. 2 hits tonight, and he stays on the left-hander's breaking ball and strokes it into center field. Just the 2nd hit for Ortiz against Howe in 13 at-bats.
And sometimes you think the pitcher makes a mistake in that part. He did not make a mistake. Good hitting by Big Papi. Maggott and the hitting coach happy with that one.
Yeah, every base hit is not a mistake. You got to tip your cap once in a while to great hitters, and Ortiz certainly falls into that category.
And Ortiz does not come to the plate without the error from the shortstop Bartlett.
10 Boston hits in this game so far, and a little more breathing room now. And Kevin Youkilis coming up. He's knocked in 2 runs by himself. He's hit the ball hard twice in 3 trips.
This is a matchup that favors the Red Sox here.
Youkilis 4-for-9 against Howell head-to-head. And a quick strike.
Again, the experience of the Red Sox lineup coming up with 2-out hits. No panic in their approach. They know the pitcher's in trouble.
There were so many of them against the Angels, so few of them early in this series, but the last couple of games, the bats have awakened for Boston. And Howell paints the inside corner for a 2nd strike.
It's almost like the switch has been turned on for this Red Sox team.
And it always seems to come on when it's a 3-1 series deficit.
The Red Sox feel most comfortable in these situations with Kevin Youkilis at the plate because he doesn't get himself out. He will stay on the game plan and stick to the big part of the diamond.
What a cut.
He doesn't get cheated, does he?
Wow, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
His eyes light up when he sees this pitch. No stride whatsoever, and just got underneath that a bit. He wasn't trying to flare it into right, that's for sure.
He won't see that pitch again.
Big gap in left center for Youkilis. 2-2. Gotta wonder if there's a little seed of doubt in that Tampa Bay bullpen after their final 3 innings in Game 5. Howell should be out of this inning, but isn't. The Bartlett throwing error kept it alive for Ortiz, who singled home the 4th Boston run.
Now, here's the big improvement behind the plate for Tampa Bay this year. Navarro's maturation as a leader. Going out to the mound at a pivotal point of the ball game. 2-2 pitch to Euclid and just clearing the mind of his pitcher, J.P. Howell. Go ahead and throw it. No sign necessary.
He struck him out. But Boston strikes for 2 in the 6th inning. Bottom half coming up. A Veritek homer, his first hit of this ALCS. A throw by Bartlett brings up Big Papi, and his base hit makes it 4-2 in St. Pete.
The American League Championship Series on TBS is brought to you by MLB Banking from Bank of America. Bank of Opportunity. And by Volkswagen Utah. The only minivan in America with German engineering.
Hideki Okajima takes over for Josh Beckett in the bottom of the 6th. B.J. Upton, the man greeting him first. And what is now a 4-2 Boston game in Game 6.
Coming out party for B.J. Upton for sure. Hideki Okajima worked 2 innings in Game 5, his 6th appearance in the postseason. He came in with a runner on and nobody out and retired 6 of the 7 batters he faced.
And it's been a different Hideki Okajima for the Red Sox this season. For Terry Francona as Upton lines out, leading off the 6th inning.
Now, Okajima last year was automatic for Terry Francona. He could bring him in any situation. He was very comfortable. He was going to throw strikes and get out of it. You can see Francona right there move the defense around a little bit, helped out Louis Alicea, the first base coach, who's in charge of the defense. So they're guarding against the bunt. But the Okajima scenario has been different this year. He's not been as consistent. But lately, he has pitched very, very effectively and obviously given a huge responsibility here to protect this 2-run lead.
Well, a large part of his effectiveness is his deception. And the more and more these hitters see that unusual kind of wind up and follow through from Okajima, the less effective, of course, he's going to be.
So Pena looks low, ball 1.
He has a very unusual delivery, and he has that violent movement with his head. And he's actually looking down at the ground when he releases the ball. Pretty remarkable. He would be able to throw so many strikes, but I think that was a real problem for hitters last year when they saw him for the first time and got caught up in looking at that violent movement.
Hitters find it unnerving when the pitcher's not looking at them when they deliver the ball. So, hey, wait a minute.
Watch his delivery. Watch where his head goes before he releases the ball. Foot's down on the ground. There goes the head. He's looking straight at the ground and gets the ball in the strike zone. Remarkable. A little unsettling if you're a hitter.
He fooled Pena with the 2nd pitch of the sequence. Now ahead of him with the 3rd, a ball and 2 strikes.
I think what happened to Okajima is what happens to a lot of pitchers. When they get where they struggle a little bit, they become a little afraid of contact. And he started walking hitters and getting behind hitters, and that even makes it worse.
Pena laid off. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Francona told us earlier in the series he just wasn't really sure from game to game what he was going to get from Okajima. But later on in the season became a little more consistent. His season really got off to a rocky start, especially against Baltimore. He gave up 8 earned runs to the Orioles in 8 innings and took 2 losses. Really the only team that really abused him consistently.
High and tight to a man that hit just 190 against left-handed pitching this year, Carlos Pena, but he did hit 8 home runs. 8 of his 31 regular season blasts came against left-handed pitching, and now the count full with nobody on and 1 out. Strike 3. Pena thought he earned a walk. Instead, he's rung up for the 2nd out.
Well, I think that Pena thought this ball was up in the strike zone, but taken a little off by Okajima. That ball inside. We know that Tim McClellan has that late strike 3 call. That looks like that brushed right across the letters.
Watch the height of the pitch. Certainly within the bounds of the interpretation of the strike zone, it looks like a high strike.
That brings up Evan Longoria, who is 0 for 2 tonight. In fact, in Longoria's last 4 postseason at bats, he's hit a couple of double plays, so he's been a very roller coaster type hitter in this postseason for the Tampa Bay club.
Well, you know, his first at bat against the White Sox in the postseason, he hit a home run. And if you look at it, his at bats in the first 3 innings, his at bats, he's got 6 home runs. His at bats in the last 6 innings, he's only hitting $150. So it tells you when he gets off to a quick start, he tends to stay hot.
He had all those home runs, as you mentioned, against Chicago, then went 0 for 13 before hitting a home run in the 3rd inning of Game 3. And if you want a bellwether stat on this Tampa Bay ball club, look no further than when Longoria drives in a run. The Rays are 41 wins, 13 losses when that man touches the plate or drives in a run. And he has not done that yet tonight. 2 balls and a strike with 2 outs.
Well, we have to say it. I mean, Darryl Cousins and Tim McClellan, there's a big difference in their strike zones. McClellan's is a little larger than Darryl Cousins, and this is a ball that would not necessarily be a strike earlier in the game.
Another high strike, and that's the one that hitters have a tough time adjusting to. Pretty good pitch. I don't think hitters should complain about the high strike. Those are the pitches they hit the best.
That's right.
Every pitch that Longoria has hit on a home run has been a ball up in the zone. Same for Upton.
Okajima doesn't want to walk Longoria. He's got Crawford waiting next. Bullpen begins to work for Boston with 2 outs and a 2-run lead. But he does walk him. Only the 2nd walk issued by Boston pitching in this game. Josh Beckett went 5 innings, 4 hits, a couple of runs. Both of those runs, home runs. And now Crawford, the hitter, 1 for 2 in this game. Crawford 1 for 6 against Okajima. Strike 1.
Crawford had a little lob shot base hit in his last at bat against Beckett with 2 strikes, just flared it into left field. Then he stole second, but he stranded there as Floyd grounded out to end the inning.
In the air, slicing over the Boston bullpen foul, and Crawford now a 2-strike hole. One ball, 2 strikes.
Okajima is difficult to run on. Very quick to the plate. Only one steal attempt against him all year.
Ground ball to short. Lowry flips to Pedroia. Close play. And they just do get Longoria to retire the side.
Oh, my God.
This American League Championship Series coverage on TBS is presented by Kia Motors. With my partners Ron Darling and Buck Martinez, Craig Sager alongside as well. It's getting serious now. 7th inning, 4-2 Boston. And J.D. Drew starts it off for the Red Sox. He's had a perfect night at the plate and takes a quick strike from J.P. Howell.
Red Sox have seen this year when J.D. Drew gets hot, it's almost impossible to get him out. That June, of course, that he had probably the biggest month of any Red Sox hitter.
And Drew and Howell, a very happy ending for Boston in the 9th inning of Game 5.
J.D. Drew drills the ball over the head of Gabe Gross in right field. Game winner. He had a big 2-run home run in the 8th inning, and then the game winner in the 9th.
Upton takes care of Drew for out number 1. Here's Bay. Bay has bounced into a force play, walked and flied to right. Oh, look back, guys, at the middle innings of this game. All the runners the Red Sox have left on base. 2 in the 2nd, 3 in the 3rd. Single men in each of the 4th and 5th. 2 more in the 6th. This could have been a much bigger Boston lead.
I think you got to give Shields credit, though. That's how he's been all year. He kind of bends, but he doesn't break. Made some important pitches with 2 outs.
And Bay hit by a pitch.
Well, those extra base runners have really plagued the Rays bullpen the last 2 games. This is just a fastball trying to go inside. You can see how far he missed his spot all the way out of the strike zone, not even close to the glove.
Well, he missed a couple cutters out over the plate to the right-handers before, so I think he was trying to make sure he got that ball in and held on to it just a little too long.
So Conce will try to make Howell pay for that. He's 1 for 3 in the game. And he had a bullet to second last time up. Iwamura with a beautiful leaping grab retired him for the first out in the 6th inning.
Well, Conce's been right on it. Bullet in the hole. Then he hit that ball with the bases loaded to deep center field, just missing it.
Conce likes to hit the ball to left center. They shade him that way, so the big gap in right center if Howell hangs one. And that one called a strike to even the count.
That's a pretty good approach if you're a left-handed batter battling a left-handed pitcher. You stay on the outside part of the plate. You absolutely try to drive it to the opposite field. And Howell doesn't have the kind of fastball that you have to worry about getting the head out on the inside.
Little tapper back to the mound. Navarro directs traffic, and Kotsay advances Bay, but it costs Boston a second out in the 7th. And now Joe Madden makes his way to the mound, a right-hander up and throwing in the Tampa Bay bullpen. That looks like Grant Balfour, and it is. And so Joe Madden will go and get Balfour out of his bullpen. It's a 4-2 Boston game. It's a 4-2 game, top of the 7th inning. Grant Balfour's on now to try to retire Jed Lowry and the Red Sox in this 7th inning. And after a very solid start to this postseason, it's come unraveled for Balfour the last couple of times out.
Well, you see those stats. He's really become a one-pitch pitcher. We know that his fastball is his best pitch at 96, 97 miles an hour. But against this Red Sox lineup, he's going to have to occasionally use his breaking pitches.
In this situation, Joe Madden elected to turn the switch hitter around, and Lowry has not hit well against right-handed pitching this year, just .222 compared to .338 against lefties, and he's looking for the strikeout, and that's what Balfour features. He's a power pitcher that relies an awful lot on emotion, and he's not had a good ALCS.
And while making no excuses for Balfour's performance in Game 5, Joe Madden told us before the game there was some concern about the length of his warm-up before that relief appearance, in which he gave up 4 runs in 2/3 of an inning. He was up and down a couple of times before finally getting into that game. The game eventually won by Boston 8-7. And he's way high to Lowry with ball 1.
Well, he's one of those relief pitchers that pitches with lots of emotion. So if you're warming up 2 or 3 times, you expend a lot of energy when you're a pitcher like Balfour.
Well, he was warming up all throughout the top of the 7th inning in Game 5, and that's when the Red Sox made the pitching change. They scored a couple of runs. Papelbon came into the game, gave up the double to Upton, and all the while, Balfour was warming up and had just too much time standing around, and got ready, sat down, got ready. Just took a long time in that inning to get ready to come in.
Low and away with ball 3. Umpires in the crowd not liking Tim McClellan's strike zone, nor Joe Madden.
Well, there's a real art to warming up in the bullpen. You got to know to stay close. Here, the fastball away, just off the outside part of the strike zone.
That's how you turn a series around. And Boston trying to even the series with a win tonight. 2 on, 2 out. So neither Rays reliever has been able to retire the first man faced in the game tonight, although in Howell's case an error did not help him. Let's check it again with Craig Sager.
Well, Jason Varitek coming to the plate. Last time he homered in the 6th inning, as you mentioned, that was his first hit in the series. Also his first home run in over a month. Last time he did a home run, September 15th, right here at Tropicana Field. The Red Sox won that game 13-5.
Thank you, Craig. And Varitek with 2 men on, 2 out. And he was thinking about a second homer and a second hit of this series.
6th inning, he gets the ball out over the plate against James Shields, and Shields disappointed in giving up that long ball. Varitek's home run just gave them the lead. They would tack on another run on The RBI by David Ortiz. 2-run inning in the 6th has stretched out the Red Sox lead to 4-2.
Again, these Rays hitters trying to strand 2 more Boston Red Sox runners.
Popped up an 0-1 pitch back our way and into the seats. It's 0-2. Red Sox have left at least 1 man in every inning but the very first in tonight's game.
Oh, look at this foul pop by Veritek. Well, in this stadium, crazy things can happen. Pop-ups can not come down.
You can go get that after the game.
I got it.
Perfect. No balls, 2 strikes. It's 1-2.
One of the rare breaking balls that Balfour has thrown. Now would be a great time to throw a second one because you would expect Veritek's looking for a fastball. That was just a show me breaking ball. Come right back with it. You might get him to chase.
Fouled into and out of the glove of Navarro. And Veritek still alive here at the 11 o'clock hour in the East.
Now this foul tip just rattles around in his glove for a moment and couldn't squeeze it enough to hold on to it for strike 3.
That one through the glove. And the runners move up 90 feet. Now a hit could mean 2 runs for Boston.
Watch Navarro's head as he reaches for this ball. It's like he takes his eye off this ball. You can see how he took his eye off the ball, never saw it into his glove, and it sails right over his head as he was ducking down, expecting it to hit into the glove. Appropriately ruled a pass ball.
And another defensive mistake by the Rays in this game. Can Boston cash it in? Full count.
Boy, every close pitch has seemed to go against the Rays.
Well, that's not even close.
Nope.
Crisp would be next. Swing and a fly ball, shallow right. Iwamura gives way to Zobrist. His first chance handled cleanly. And the side is retired. Boston leaves 2 more as we stretch in Game 6. Catch all the action of the 2008 World Series starting October 22nd on Fox. Joe Buck and Tim McCarver will have the call. On the Fox Television Network, there is only 1 October and only 1 representative from the American League will participate. Right now, the Rays have a 3-2 lead in this ALCS, but Boston leads Game 6, and we're in the 7th with Willie Ibar to lead things off. Ibar, another big contributor for this Tampa Bay ball club in an injury-riddled season for them. 10 home runs and a .253 batting average. Ibar's best game of this series was Game 4 at Fenway Park. He hit a home run, drove in 5 men in the Rays' 13-4 victory.
Well, he stepped up when Evan Longoria broke his wrist and played third base every day, and he gave them solid defense, but he really became a very good hitter for them at that point and picked up the slack for the loss of Longoria.
And he pops this pitch up left side. Foul ground, Euclid. 1 down in the 7th inning.
Well, how about the job Okajima has done in the last 2 games? Terry Francona brought him into game 5 with a man aboard, and he went on to retire 6 of the 7 hitters he faced, gave up a single and nothing more.
Well, the great thing about Okajima is a crossover type of pitcher. He can get both right-handers and left-handers out. Doesn't have to be a situational lefty.
Rays have 8 outs left to try to complete another comeback in this ballpark against Boston. And Navarro, the hitter, and he looks at a called strike. Rays have 6 come-from-behind wins against the Red Sox in this ballpark in this season. So don't count out Tampa Bay in Game 6 yet. Times overall this season, the Rays have come from behind to win. And 3 times in the playoffs. They are down 4-2 late tonight. And we'll do it again, 0-2.
Now, the one thing that the Rays have done all year long is they've had short memories. They had a 7-game losing streak at the All-Star break. They came back. They bounced back. Many times during the course of the second half, everybody was writing them off. Well, you know what? They're going to fade away when they play Boston. Well, they're going to fade away when they go to Fenway. Well, they haven't faded away yet. Bill Madden's got a lot of confidence in his team's ability to forget that tough loss in Game 5 and get back here in this Game 6 and come back.
And was, as was mentioned so much in the newspapers in Boston after the wild finish to Game 5. This isn't like basketball or football. You can't run out the clock. You've got to get 27 outs, sometimes more than that. And again, the Rays have 8 more outs to get 2 or 3 runs.
Well, they lost Upton. They were supposed to go downhill after that. They lost Longoria. They weren't able to get through that. They did.
High towering fly ball down the left field line. Long run for Bay. He makes the catch for the 2nd out.
I think one thing I'm seeing right now from the Rays hitters is everybody's trying to do damage with one swing of the bat, and they're lifting the ball in the air. Gotten away from their line drive approach. You don't have to hit every ball out of the ballpark to get back in this game.
Well, we were going to talk about it in our open tonight. The history-making comeback of the Red Sox in Game 5. For Joe Madden, that history, he said, was history at the start of this Game 6. Are you starting to see a little bit of tension starting to creep onto the faces of these young Rays in the late innings now?
You know what's strange about these postseasons is that sometimes you get your shot, that might be your last shot, and you got to take advantage of it. You know, they can say all they want about his team has forgotten it. They were lighthearted on the airplane coming down here. But at some point, you know, you had the 7-0 lead with 7 outs to go, and you're not drinking champagne. Got to play a small part, at least, on your psyche.
Even if you were able to forget about it after Game 5, now you've got to think back to it in Game 6 as you find yourself down. They were up 7-0 with 7 outs to go. Now they only have 7 outs to go from Game 7.
And that pitch just misses to Ben Zobrist, who bats for the 2nd time tonight. And what is it about these Red Sox? Down 3 games to 1. Last year, down 3-1 to the Indians. Came roaring back to win that series and the World Series. They haven't won tonight, but they are leading late and quieting a St. Petersburg crowd. Fly ball, well hit left center field. Crisp on the run is going to have room. And Okajima, 2 spotless innings of work. 1 in the 6th, 1 in the 7th. And the top of the order coming up for the Red Sox in the 8th. We go to the 8th inning. Top of the Red Sox order looking for more and looking to win this one and force Game 7 here tomorrow night. Coco Crisp has had a fine night at the plate. 3 singles, 1 run scored. The blemish, a fly out to center in the 3rd. He was also picked off in the 1st inning. It's Beckett and Okajima, the first 2 for Boston tonight. Beckett 2 runs, 4 hits in 5 innings. Okajima 2 hitless innings of relief.
Well, what a job by Josh Beckett to go out there and just gut his way through 5 innings and hold the Rays to just 4 hits.
Both runs Beckett allowed were solo home runs tonight. And now Crisp way ahead in the count. Balfour falls behind. 3 balls, no strikes. Boston would happily take a walk with the speedy leadoff man, Coco Crisp.
Jim Hickey, Bobby Ramos communicating over the matchups in this inning. Pitchers like to know who they might be facing in an inning. They're both loosening up down in the bullpen. Chad Bradford on Trevor Miller. Just to relate so they can focus on one particular hitter.
Coco tried to check the swing, but fouls it off. 3-2. Talk so much about balance in lineup, speed and power. Boston also has the ability to go left, right, all the way up and down the lineup in the middle and late innings, and really can burn up the bullpen. Leadoff walk. Crisp aboard again. And now Carlos Pena in for a chat. Let's see what Madden has in mind with 1 on and none out.
Well, he's thinking about the situation here after the leadoff walk, down by 2 already. Can't afford to fall much further behind. We have talked to Joe about Bradford and how he would like to use Chad Bradford. He's a ground ball pitcher, and he has just called for Bradford. So he's looking for a ground ball in this situation. But one thing that worries him is the way Pedroia hits him. He stays up the middle and hits him fairly hard.
So we'll check out that matchup when we come back. It's Pedroia and Bradford in the top of the 8th. Entertaining game tonight in St. Petersburg, Florida. Red Sox 4, Rays 2. Here's how it started tonight. Josh Beckett, B.J. Upton hit one off the catwalk for a quick 1-0 lead for the Tampa Bay Rays. Kevin Youkilis in the 2nd, however, answered. A long home run off James Shields tied the game 1-1. 5th inning. Bartlett down the left field line. Tied the game 2-2. Then in the 6th inning, the captain, Jason Varitek, his first hit of this series. That turned the game around. And then a throwing error from Bartlett at short kept the inning alive. And Big Papi with a big base hit chased home the 4th and final Red Sox run in tonight's game.
Now, you can talk all you want to about the Rays being confident and relaxed, but we have seen some mistakes because of pressurized situations. Jason Bartlett's been rock solid at shortstop all year long. He just made an errant throw on a routine play. Now they'll look to Chad Bradford to come in here and get a double play off the bat of Dustin Pedroia.
He's been outstanding, too, including the postseason. 63 and 2/3 innings. He's given up 14 double play balls.
You mentioned Pedroia takes him up the middle. He's 4 for 6. And at the plate against Bradford. And a quick strike. Pedroia has reached twice, once on a walk, once on an error, and he scored a run.
They asked Joe Madden what was so effective for Pedroia against Bradford. He says he stays up the middle. Doesn't try to do too much with that submarine fastball.
Right back up the middle, knocked down by the pitcher. High throw, and Pena holds the bag. I guess that's the definition of staying up the middle.
Right back to the pitcher's mound, and Bradford knocks the ball down. I don't know if he got a glove on it, but he keeps it right around the mound. He's able to recover. Watch the throw. Even submarine on the fielding plate. Throws a high throw to Pena, but he maintains contact with the bag.
I don't think he got a glove on this. Let's see. No, I think it got the inside of his leg. Has wherewithal to get it and just get Pedroia at first with that sailing throw.
This ball was headed up the middle. I think they might have had a chance to turn two had it gone past Bradford. But he gets hit by it. And it gets one out at first base, but they couldn't turn two. Now they're going to put Ortiz on with the open base at first.
And they'll take their chances with right-hand hitting Kevin Youkilis, who's 4 for 9.
Yeah, again, another guy that stays up the middle, and Joe Madden was aware of these situations, but he doesn't have any choice after Bradford got wild, after Balfour got wild.
So the left-right situation can either burn up your bullpen or force you to put more runners on in a close ball game late.
Well, the thing that Joe Madden does like about Bradford late in the game, that he usually keeps the ball in the yard because most of the hits off him will be on the ground.
So Big Poppy aboard, first and third, one out. Here's Youkilis. 2 RBIs for the Boston third baseman. Youkilis hitting to 11 double plays in the regular season. And backs off the plate with ball 1.
Bradford throws a 4-seam fastball, but it's from the submarine position, so it has a lot of movement on it. And then he throws 2 breaking balls, one that sails up and away from right-handers and one that'll break straight across.
Down the left field line and out of play to even the count.
Getting the instructions from Bobby Ramos.
And Miller might be getting ready for J.D. Drew. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 on, 1 out. Hard hit ball. Longoria spears. There's 1. There's 2. There's the double play that the Rays desperately needed. Our American League Championship Series coverage on TBS presented by Kia Motors. They're rocking the Trop. Rays are down 2. Bottom of the 8th inning. The 9, 1, and 2 spots are coming up, and Justin Masterson is in for the Red Sox. Jason Bartlett hit a home run in the 5th inning. And ball 1 is outside.
Well, what an inning for this young Justin Masterson. Came up as a starting pitcher. They saw that they needed some help in the bullpen. They sent him back down to AAA. He worked on becoming a relief pitcher and now pitching in this 8th inning of this big game 6.
So Bartlett starts it, then Iwamura, then B.J. Upton.
Masterson pitched the 9th inning in game 5, gave up a leadoff single to Bartlett. And then with 1 out, walked B.J. Upton, but got the inning-ending double play from Carlos Pena.
Ball 2, 2 balls, and a strike. This Tampa Bay offense, which had been so devastating up at Fenway Park, has been held to only 2 runs and 4 hits tonight. Full count.
Bartlett's a good fastball hitter, even though the count was in his favor. He was looking to start things off with a hit. You can't really think about walking in this situation. You have to continue to be aggressive. And now he's going to have to just battle and try to get his way on base. Sink the ball inside he's going to have to deal with.
And he fouls it away to stay alive.
Masterson gets that good sinker in off the plate. Very hard to keep that fair.
And a hit by pitch. So the tying run potentially comes to the plate. A hit batter puts Bartlett on.
Oh, that's nerves for the young Masterson, because on a 3-2 pitch, at this point, you should be able to throw a strike. This ball not even close, running in on and hitting the elbow of Bartlett.
Bartlett's not afraid to wear one. Second time he's been hit, but he's got the advantage of that elbow pad. Yeah. Not quite as painful.
So here's Iwamura, 0 for 3 tonight. He's 2 for 6 with a home run against the Boston reliever. And he's been wild in this 8th inning. Ball 1. And Veritek out for a check.
Well, he's got to go out and calm the young man down. Certainly just cutting off those pitches. John Farrell, the pitching coach, and Terry Francona as Papelbon gets ready.
Terry Francona told us before Game 5, he went to Papelbon and said, listen, I am not going to lose this series with you sitting in the bullpen, so be prepared to pitch at any time. And sure enough, he brought him in the 7th. He's beaten up. He's at the end of the road as far as his stamina, but Terry Francona knows he might have one shot to use Papelbon in this game.
1 ball, no strikes to Iwamura. Ball too high, 2-0.
This is a twofold trick. One to help Masterson regroup, the other to give Papelbon enough time to get ready. He should be close now.
I've been there before. It's really to go out there to help the young man breathe, because at this point, you know, your heart's beating, can't find any saliva. You're trying to throw the ball over the plate. No one's trying to throw a ball, but what he's doing is he's aiming the baseball instead of letting it go.
Told you earlier, this Tampa Bay club has come back and won with great frequency in the regular season and again in the postseason. They're down only 2. Boston has left 12 men on base tonight. Will that cost them in Game 6? Wicked slider, 2-2.
You can see how far he missed his spot. That was designed to be backdoor, but he held on to it and got a lot of break. Iwamura swings right over the top. Look at the target. It's on the outside corner. He missed all the way across the plate, but it was very effective because Iwamura swung right over the top of it.
It's almost like Iwamura was guessing fastball. Gutty call by Veritek to call that slider.
6 home runs for Iwamura this year, 4 against Boston. And he's down on strikes. 1 on, 1 out for Upton.
Very weak hack with 2 strikes because of the previous pitch. That slider down and in. He's got that in the back of his mind. Look how he gives up on his outside pitch.
Well, you're right, Buck. That slider down and in. Iwamura trying to protect the plate and add it on a little with Masterson.
Upton can tie it.
He can't tie it swinging at balls. Chase that ball off the plate, anxious to do some damage. He has a home run against Masterson. 3 for 8 in their head-to-head meetings.
Strike 2 to B.J. Upton.
B.J. Upton's had a personal coming out party in the postseason. Home runs against the White Sox to get him going, and then he does the same to John Lester at Fenway Park. Everything he hits is on the inner half of the plate. He has hit some bullets in this postseason.
And all fastballs.
Swung late and stayed alive. It's still 0-2. The Rays hoping to come back in Game 6 and get set for the Phillies and the World Series. Justin Masterson and the Red Sox want to force a decisive Game 7 here tomorrow night.
Hanging tough.
Well, good hitters do that, don't they? They foul off those pitches on the outside corner. Just the perfect slider by Masterson.
All you can think about is protecting the plate and hoping that Masterson makes a mistake and leaves you something over the heart of the plate.
Popped him up, had him reaching, and Pedroia at the cut of the outfield field turf makes the catch. 2 down.
Really, it's the speed of this pitch. It's a slider again, but it looks like he takes just enough off. That slow, languid swing by B.J. Upton. That's one of the few times we've seen him not have a good swing. And that pop up to Pedroia.
You can see how he lost his balance point. Really had to just kind of flail away at that outside breaking ball. Never really had much of a chance to put it in play.
But no rest for the weary, and Masterson now for Pena's clobbered him too. 3 for 7 with a home run. And tonight 0 for 2. Fly ball, shallow right center field, drifting out Lowry. He's got it, and how about Masterson? He hits Bartlett, then a strikeout and 2 pop-outs sends this game to the 9th inning for the Red Sox. The final game of this series between the Red Sox and Rays will be tomorrow night on TBS if necessary. Our coverage will begin at 7:30 Eastern Time with TBS MLB On Deck, presented by Sprint. Garza and Lester would be tomorrow night's starting pitchers. So to the 9th in Game 6 we go, with the Red Sox leading 4-2 despite leaving 12 men on base in this game. J.D. Drew, a bullet hit to left. But Crawford tracks it down for out number 1.
Boy, Drew's locked in right now. Everything he hits is a bullet.
1 up, 1 down in the 9th for Jason Bay. Bay also very impressive numbers against Bradford. He's 5 for 8. And looks at ball one low.
Yeah, they're able to hit Bradford so well because they stay up the middle. With that submarine pitch, you roll over it as a right-handed hitter, you're going to hit it to the left side of the infield. But if you stay up the middle, you got a chance to get a base hit. Probably be on the ground, but you've got a bigger shot.
You know, Bradford did come out and get 3 outs with the double play, but Pedroia hit a bullet. Euclid hit a bullet to third base. Drew now with a line drive to left field.
Longoria guards the line at third with a 2-0 count to Jason Bay. Ground ball to short. Bartlett handles cleanly. Papelbon getting ready for the bottom of the 9th inning. Mark Kotsay is the hitter, and Joe Madden will again go to his bullpen. So Bradford was hit hard in the 8th inning, but gave up nothing. And Trevor Miller's going to come on and try to retire Mark Kotsay. This game not over yet in the 9th inning. Boston has 2 out and nobody aboard for Mark Kotsay, but trying to complete what looked like an impossible task in 2008. But flashback, gentlemen, to the 2007 ALCS. The Red Sox down 3-1 to the Indians, came back and won the series and won a World's Championship.
Well, they got a great performance from Josh Beckett in Cleveland in Game 5. They came home, and J.D. Drew got everything going with that grand slam on Fausto Carmona. Comeback Kings from down 3-1 in the ALCS. I was there firsthand and watched the Royals come back against the Toronto Blue Jays in '85. They were up 3-1. The first year they expanded the ALCS to 7 games. Then Boston against the Angels, and Boston against the Yankees in '04. That was a remarkable comeback. They were down 3-0 in that series.
They lost that third game 19-8.
But here they are, 3 outs away from forcing Sunday baseball in St. Pete. Trevor Miller to face Kotsay, who is 1 for 4 in this game. And the first pitch popped up left side of the diamond. Longoria puts the squeeze on that, and he'll lead off the bottom of the 9th inning against closer Jonathan Papelbon. Game, 3 more outs for the Rays, or we face Game 7 tomorrow night. Stay tuned for Inside MLB, presented by Captain Morgan. Tonight, Ernie, Cal, Dennis, and Harold will bring you highlights of tonight's game and post-game reaction. Jonathan Papelbon is summoned from the Boston bullpen to try to finish it off. He'll face the middle of the Tampa Bay order.
You see that Papelbon has a streak of 24 consecutive innings without allowing a run in the postseason. This is his 7th appearance in this postseason. He's pitched 9 in the 3rd innings, giving up just 3 hits and struck out 12.
The Boston bullpen tonight in relief of Josh Beckett. 3 hitless innings of relief.
Well, Papelbon in those 24 innings, that's in 15 appearances, 2 wins and 6 saves. 82 batters faced, only 16 have gotten on via hit or a walk.
So Longoria, a huge out to get in the 9th inning in a 2-run game. Longoria tonight 0 for 2 with a walk. And a first pitch strike from Papelbon.
Longoria swinging at that pitch. Usually when you're facing a pitcher and you're down a couple of runs, you might want to try to take one, but you can't afford to take any pitches off Papelbon. He throws strikes. Only walked 8 batters all season.
Yeah, you know he's going to throw it over. It's going to be a fastball. Veritek loves to spot his fastball. He's got great command with that fastball.
ball deep short. Lowry's got it. 1 out in the ninth. Boy, what a difference in the makeup of these two bullpens. The power of Jonathan Papelbon and the finesse of the Tampa Bay relief corps.
The power really plays well late in the season. Hitters aren't quite as quick, and big, powerful relievers like Papelbon can really dominate a lineup.
He's dominated Crawford head-to-head, and Carl tonight 1-4-3. 4-2 ninth inning.
Well, swing and misses are the key with power bullpen guys. You can get out of situations where runner on third and less than 2 outs. Interesting to see Papelbon just using his control. There was a 90-mile-an-hour fastball, just keeping it down, running it away. We've seen Papelbon throw 96, 97, 98 miles an hour.
Nothing in 2.
Tried a good splitter there. Veritek doesn't use it very often, but when you're throwing 90-mile-an-hour fastballs, it's time to go to number 2.
It's hard to believe that the Rays were just 7 outs away from a World Series berth when we last met at Fenway Park.
With a 7-run lead.
How quickly it has changed.
And that's the man of the hour should there be Game 7, Matt Garza.
Two outs in the ninth inning.
What a pitch by Papelbon after that split finger away. Good four-seam fastball up and in. This ties up Crawford. Nothing to do with that pitch.
Best pitch in baseball, a well-located fastball.
And now Ibar can hit it to Tampa. But Boston would still lead. It's a 4-2 game, 2 outs, bases empty in Game 6. Another well-located strike. 0-1.
Pretty heroic effort. You have Beckett who pitched, and you know he was under the gun and in some pain. Papelbon probably at the end of his tether in this game to save it.
Line and cut, and we'll have baseball Sunday night. Back from the brink just a few short days ago, the Boston Red Sox have come back and have tied this series at 3 games apiece. They win Game 6, 4-2, tonight's final score.
Pretty amazing that Josh Beckett would set the tone and hold Tampa Bay to just 4 hits. He pitched with his head tonight and certainly did a heck of a job, and then turned it over to a very effective bullpen, Jason Veritek, with his first hit of the series, and it was a big home run that put the Red Sox ahead.
Well, Tampa talked all day, Tampa Bay talked all day that Game 5 did not matter at all. Well, now with this Game 6 win by Boston, absolutely tough game tomorrow. But Garza outpitched less than the last time. He'll have to do it again.
Boston is a perfect 9-0 under Terry Francona in elimination games in the American League Championship Series. They'll try to make it 10-0, and the American League Championship will be on the line tomorrow night here on TBS. Our American League Championship Series coverage on TBS has been presented by Kia